There are 9 Omega chapters that you could be a part of, but it's just something about those guys over there at Delta Mu Mu, and they do something different.
We can give you grandma's recipe.
That's right.
But your cake ain't gonna taste like grandma. I think we have great people in place, people that are visionaries,
yeah.
and they see how it can grow and how it can get better.
Omega, Psi Phi, in the building.
Mm-hmm.
In the building, or like Ben Crump would say, Attorney Benjamin Crump, Omega men.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. There's a distinction between when you go by the Q's
That's right.
and Omega men.
That's right.
Can you break that down for us before we get busy so people can know the difference?
Well, I'll just give you a perspective.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that it's official.
Okay.
But
you got to say that in case
well,
somebody.
I don't know that it's official, but when you start out, you're all about kind of the rough, rugged, and raw.
Yeah.
And let's just call it the Q-Dog lifestyle.
Okay.
And then as you graduate and matriculate through life, then you decide that you want to transition into more of a leadership role, more of a business presence, more of a civic leader, more of a community engagement person. Mm-hmm. And therefore the transformation to an Omega man.
I heard that. Yeah. Was that a perfect breakdown?
Good job, dog.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Wendell and Patrick. Thank you for joining me. First of all, shout out to Justin that made this possible. Shout out to C. Black, my brother that I've worked with for the last decade with Attorney Benjamin Crump.
Right.
My favorite Omega, no, shade,
No,
Sure.
but definitely, certainly, who I've worked with for the last 10 plus years as his senior public policy advisor. So I say that to say being under his leadership has been just an excellent example of what Omega is, or if you had to point to what it should be, his leadership is absolutely in line with an Omega man. So thank you for that breakdown.
Absolutely.
Well, you're here because we want to talk about your annual event, Sundresses and Seersuckers, which I've ordered my sundress, by the way, just to make sure. I had to.
Has it arrived?
It has not arrived. It comes on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I'm kind of, chancing it a little bit, but I'm being hopeful.
You've got a plan B and a plan C.
A plan B and a plan C.
Perfect.
So tell me about it. It's been going on for?
This is year 14.
Year 14.
Year 14. So, of course, started years ago at Heritage Sandy Springs. Delta Mu Mu, the chapter was formed in the Sandy Springs, Alpharetta area. A lot of the brothers, undergrad members, and just decided it was time for a new chapter. Nothing against the other chapters in the area, all do great things in the community in the Metro Atlanta area. But a lot of us knew each other from undergrad, and like I was a recent transient here in Atlanta in 2006. So we got together and
from
formed,
Florida.
That is correct.
You want to give a shout out to FAMU.
That's right, FAMU.
FAMU law. Strike again.
That's right.
Okay, go ahead.
So moved here from South Florida, and we all came together, these bros. We put together a new chapter. Very successful with a lot of the fundraisers we were doing toy drives and things of that nature. And conversation came up about a signature event. And along myself and a couple others, we came up with a plan and came up with the event Sundresses and Seersuckers and Heritage Sandy Springs. And the first year, I think we always go back and forth. He'll say it was only 100, 200, it was about 700 people in the park. It was just a trial run, did really well. Grits and Jelly Butters was our first entertainment piece. And then we came back year 2, probably 1,200 people, and every year it's continued to grow. And probably year 3, 4, and 5, we added a second stage. We outgrew the venue, and then came COVID. And 2 years into planning, after COVID, we landed at Centennial Park, and did 2 years of Centennial. Those years we probably had anywhere from 8,000 to 9,000 people in the park. Social media has been very big. Corporate sponsors have been very big, and I know Pat will talk about that and why we actually do it. And last year we were at Home Depot backyard, so this year we're returning to the Home Depot backyard. We're expecting great things. A great deal of our corporate sponsors have really stepped up to support our programs. And I know Patrick's going to take it from here and talk about the purpose of the event.
Well, I do want to ask this question. I know it seems like a simple question, but what made you say Seersuckers and Sundresses? Like, I just even want to know, like, who said, yeah, let's just do Seersuckers? Like, where did that come from?
Well, we looked at the time of year of the event, which is spring, summer. And what better way to have a lady look in a nice sundress?
Yeah, but the men, y'all really get into the Seersuckers
Another
side,
part
though.
of it,
Yeah.
though, when you think about a Kentucky Derby themed, when you want to put together a very nice, elegant event where people will dress in their finest, they'll do their preparation just like you are. You got your fitting, you placed your order, right? People go all out to really make sure that they are dressed appropriately for this first class event. And so that's a part of the branding also.
Okay, and then the why.
The why. So you've heard Wendell talk about the event, but the event is actually a major fundraiser for our 501c3, which is called Commitment to Excellence. We have two major programs that we fund and sponsor. That's our Black Rhinos Mentoring Program and then our scholarship program. And so over these past 13 years, we have given over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholastic and mentoring support to deserving and underserved young men from the age of 13 to 18 and a cohort of young women and men in the way of scholarships. So it really is a party or an experience with a purpose. Our corporate sponsors have come out to support us for the 14 years because they see that this has a direct impact on the lives of people in the community, and they want to be a part of it, right? So the party is kind of the means to the end, but the end is what's really exciting, and that's what people really look at.
What it's really about.
Yeah.
And right now, as we're experiencing, a loss of funding. For
Yes.
example, FAMU pharmacy school lost, I think about $13-14 million in grants. So one of the things that I'm always talking about on Revolt News, the three things that we need to do in this economy: save, and then stack our resources together. But the third thing is secure, and I talk about securing our nonprofits by trying to invest in one way or the other, whether it's in going to a party, $50 here, if it's $25 here, because the nonprofits are truly taking a big loss, because not all corporate organizations are still standing by nonprofits. A lot of them got in it for different reasons, to have a checkbox, and now with DEI happening, and people saying, I don't necessarily have to give, even though the results are there. It's good to hear that your corporate sponsors are still, looking at the mission and the outcome and the result.
Right. Very good segue into that. We haven't experienced any fallout or fall off from anyone in terms of sponsorship. In fact, we continue to grow that sponsorship platform exponentially. We have a great set of leaders who cultivate that space, one being Justin Valentine and Ray Johnson, who work very closely with bringing in our corporate sponsors and really connecting the purpose and the mission to the purpose and the mission of the organization. When you think about DE&I, it is a platform and it's a space. But when you really look at kind of the causes that organizations want to be a part of, corporate sponsors want to be a part of, it's things like this, right? You're actually investing in your future workforce, your consumer.
And current consumer, it makes sense.
And your consumer.
Yeah.
So they're investing directly into the people that will support their organizations down the road. So the downstream impact is huge.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. I want to kind of go back on that just to educate the folks. We want both. We do want organizations that are not as strong, to be funded by corporate sponsors or government, sponsors that invest to give them a chance to grow. But then, to your point, to corporations that say it makes sense to partner with other organizations, diversity, not because you have to, but because it makes sense from a consumer standpoint. Let's talk about the demographic that they're, besides the cause. Because one thing of saying, oh, it's a great cause. Well, that's one thing, but then at the end of the day, it does come down to profit. Purpose is important, but also profit. So when we talk about the demographic, and I'm saying this because I have a booth in the marketplace. So when we talk about the demographic, let's talk about that: the age, the income, the commitment to community. What would you say is your average guest that attends this event?
So one thing we have gotten really good at is we always want to make sure that our patrons are having a great time. So at the end of the event, maybe a week or so later, we do a survey. And the survey touched base on the demographics, the household income, what state, how far they've traveled, how long, where did they stay, and give us details about the experience. So you have a wide range of individuals from your 20 to 30s to 30 to 40s, but I'll say the majority of the individuals are anywhere from 35 to 55 of attendees, and the household income is anywhere from 200,000 to over 300,000. So we do those demographics, and it's also a selling point to our corporate sponsors, like, hey, you're getting your product in front of these type individuals with this type of income stream and so forth in education. So we do a great job of tracking that information with our end of the event survey.
Yeah, it makes sense if you're, because you're at the Home Depot
Backyard.
backyard. So again, 35 to 55, those are homeowners. Those are people who are going to Home Depot. Those are people who are investing.
That's right.
Those are folks that got kids, you know, either in high school, middle school, going to college. If you had a child later in life like me, going to, you know, finishing high school, going to college. So again, this makes sense. The purpose sounds good because a lot of people got a purpose. And I agree when they can marry.
That's right.
But it just makes sense to have the corporate sponsors that you have on board. Tell us a little bit about the marketplace. I'll be at the marketplace on Saturday. Shout out to me. Make sure y'all stop by. But what about, it's a Friday and a Saturday marketplace. How many businesses? I think when we were on the conference call, it was about 80 or so on the call I was on. But give us a little bit of information on what the marketplace is about.
So the marketplace is a place where individuals can market and put their businesses in front of, let's say, 7,000 people we expect to come through the Hyatt Regency, which is our host hotel. So if you do not have tickets, we ask that you do come by and visit the marketplace.
Because you know y'all don't have no tickets.
Right.
I don't even know why y'all promote tickets. Like it's sell out.
Well,
y'all just like to play games. Y'all contact us for tickets.
It sells out earlier and earlier every year.
Not to interrupt you, but I want to say let's just stop the ticket gimmick. I mean, there's literally no tickets.
Okay.
This is a 2-year advance. You know that you got to kind of put your bid in to get
very
a ticket.
intentional.
You have to be very intentional. But go ahead.
So the marketplace is open on Saturday, I think 10 a.m. And it opens to like 6 or 7, and it goes, and everyone can come in. And we invite those who do not have tickets, come through the marketplace, different various vendors, from those with in the medical field, paraphernalia, jewelry, suits, hats, all type of business owners. And they're putting their business in front of 8,000 people that are going to be in and throughout that hotel over the next 3 or 4 days. So it's a great opportunity for you to advertise your business, get your name out there, and see what happens. So we have had to turn down business owners who've wanted to come in because we had a cap number of how many people we wanted in the marketplace.
That's amazing. Because this is just one chapter that does this.
Yes, ma'am.
I keep hearing that over and over. Like, well, you know, this is really just us. It just grew and grew and grew. This is not every chapter. So this is just you guys been managing this on your own.
Which makes it very unique in that regard. When people come to the weekend experience, they always ask, okay, so how many chapters are putting this together, right? And it's only one, right? No disparage to anyone else or anyone else in the D9, but unlike some other events that you may attend where it's a consortium of chapters together, the Delta Mu Mu chapter and Commitment to Excellence produce, sponsor, and host.
Yeah, that's
event.
important. Again, no shade to anybody else, but the facts are the facts. When you talk about managing your social media, corporate sponsorship, pretending like y'all got tickets when you know you're not gonna have tickets, you know, selling out. No. I gotta say that because everybody wants tickets, but it's a good thing that you guys sell out. So I'm just joking, but selling out the tickets, managing it, the customer service has been phenomenal with Justin. And I want to give, again, he's sitting over for folks don't know he is in the building, but he reached out to REVOLT and said, you guys don't have to partner. You already partnered up. You got plenty of corporate sponsors, plenty of, like you said, you're turning people away. But he reached out and was like, we want to still grow. We want to expand. We want people to know what we're doing. You know, can you partner with us, Tezin and REVOLT, and just, you know, see how we can get the message out. So I appreciate that. We always want to scale up. And I've been getting on his nerve, by the way.
And the one thing I say about Justin, because we have grown this event, and knock on wood, say we got lucky, but I think it comes with the individuals that have come to the committee. And Justin is one of those people, and this gentleman here, leaving our nonprofit, and my co-chair, brother Larry Raspberry, who's my co-chair. I'm the chair, he's the co-chair. So we are always attached at the hip. But I think we have great people in place, people that are visionaries,
yeah.
and they see how it can grow and how it can get better. And the comment that Justin always says, yeah, we can give you grandma's recipe,
That's right.
but your cake ain't gonna taste like grandma.
Right.
So people always ask, like he was saying, how do you guys pull this off? How do you do it? We can give you the recipe, but it's not gonna taste like ours just because of the ingredients that we have. And I think it's just great people that are involved and people with vision.
Just to add on to that, and Justin Valentine is an example of hundreds of people that moved to the city of Atlanta. There are 9 Omega chapters that you could be a part of, but it's just something about those guys over there at Delta Mu Mu, and they do something different. And you know, I want to be a part of that. Yeah. And he would tell you that that was kind of what attracted him, but he didn't just come and say, I just want to be
He came
a
and got
member.
busy, yeah.
He came in and started working and started adding his vision and his muscle and his talent, which is what led to our conversation today. So,
Well, I can tell you, I am not a member of your chapter, obviously, but I've been in Justin's ear getting on his nerve
Yes.
with all type of unsolicited advice.
Okay.
Attorney Crump says I give him more unsolicited advice than anybody in the history of advice. But I'm just excited when I see stuff and I see how we can scale up, and
Sure.
I start really taking ownership of it. Like, what else can we do with the businesses? How
Okay.
can we have some panels? Can we do some workshops? Can we do a little bit more? Can we do? So he's been really good and receptive with just hearing it, whether you use it or not. I always say
Right.
use it, lose it, can't make you choose it. I'm like FedEx. I drop it off. You pick it up. You do, you don't, no signature required.
So speaking of panels,
Yes, the
you talked
doctors.
to the
Yes.
Ask a Divine 9 doctor.
yes.
So this is a new panel we started this year, and it's on Saturday morning
Yes.
at 10 o'clock at the Host Hotel, open to the public. Ask a Divine 9 doctor. So of course, us in the African American community, you know, I have to be pushed and nudged to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't take advantage of those opportunities like we should. So it's an opportunity for individuals to come. We have a panel of Divine 9 doctors. Feel free to come up and ask questions in reference to healthcare or anything in the healthcare field.
and what makes that pretty unique, you know, when you have people that's coming from every walk of life throughout the United States and outside the United States, you know, where can you go in one room and just see this large group of African American doctors?
Right.
You know, if you live in the state of Montana, you know, and I
Right.
just happen to know this, right? There are only 140 doctors for a population that's 25 times its size, right? And I don't know that you'll find an African American doctor. But when you come to a space like this and you see all of these African American doctors who are in all of these different specialties and can talk to you about health care that's very specific to us. And when you think about the different treatment options, you've got people that will prescribe synthetic, you know, prescriptions, and no disparage to that. But when you look at a range of other treatment options that could be holistic, et cetera, and when you think about the Divine 9 panel, you're talking about physicians and healthcare professionals that represent every organization throughout the entire Divine 9. All of the Greek letter fraternities, all of the Greek letter sororities, and all of us in some way or another are focused on community impact and have as a part of their mission, how can we improve the community? So each one of them coming together to talk about how we can support the African American community is pretty significant.
Perfect. Well, I'll make my pitch on camera now, and also to Justin. As we, look at me saying we like it's my event, as we continue to scale up, love to see that in legal as well. You know, 5%
Sure.
of attorneys in America are black. Did you know that? Only 5%.
Didn't know that.
So
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so when we talk about what's happening on public policy,
Sure.
when we talk about, you know, what people are having to do with business, losing jobs, this year, there was a historic increase on people applying for law school this year, more so than ever in the history
wow.
outside of George Floyd. Because people see what's happening. So I encourage you to also, you know, add that to some type of mix as well.
Got it.
Because that's really, really important. People literally just don't know what to do.
And so what's interesting, one of the things that we do internal to the chapter is we have monthly rap sessions where we bring in subject matter experts on wealth planning, financial advisement, estate planning, et cetera. And so within that small community of African American attorneys, there's even a very, very micro percentage of people that focus on estate planning, et cetera. And those are the types of things, to your point, that we want to make sure that we bring forward to these types of panels, so that as people are coming in for the weekend experience, that they are getting as much information to help them and their families as possible.
As possible. Well, I'm excited to be in the marketplace. One of the things I'm concerned about is businesses, people knowing how to start a business too. That's really important. 300,000 Black people were laid off in April in the federal government, which employs us more than any other sector, the federal government. So now people are saying, how can I start my own business? What do I do? How do I attend a marketplace? How do I get value from that, and those types of things? So it's a lot that we're going through as a community. And I'm excited that you guys have this event to, party with purpose, but also be very intentional, with how we can continue to get these businesses involved throughout the year.
So what you just did was gave us some additional questions for our survey.
Yes.
Like, what would they like to see outside of the panel of Ask the Divine Nine? We can also look at a panel how to go about starting a businesses and have conversations like that. And just, you got it.
Oh, no worries. Justin has definitely, well, it's important to me. You don't get 10,000 Black people in a space every day.
Right.
That's not an everyday thing. So what do we do,
well,
with
as
that?
you
What does
talked
that
about
mean?
scaling up, right?
Yeah.
There's a perfect platform that you have a captive audience of people who've willingly decided to seek tickets to come to the event, the weekend experience. Why not nourish them with much needed information on all aspects of our lives?
Now, why are you bringing up tickets to her?
Well,
Why are you bringing up
How you
tickets
know
to
it ain't
her?
no tickets?
Right. Why do you do that?
Well, because people are coming to town anyway.
They popping up anyway. I noticed they said they popping up anyway, ticket or no
so
ticket.
y'all telling me y'all not gonna let me in at the door?
Yeah, because all of y'all feel like once you get to the door, it's different for everybody else.
Well, hang on.
Is that an Omega thing or Q? Which side?
Well, it depends. I think there's two parts of that, right? So let me start with the ladies.
Yes.
Okay.
And what's the ratio, by the way? Because the women, I've been on y'all about that too. Thank you I love the videos where you're now including. One of the things I know Justin laughing because one of the things I'm just trying to help y'all scale up.
on.
I just want to help y'all scale up.
Come on.
I told C Black saying, everybody knows me, and I said no. We need to make sure. I'm telling you, I've been taking over y'all event in the background.
As you should.
As
Go
I
ahead.
should.
Right.
I said y'all need to make sure y'all have diverse videos of the men.
Right.
Because the women need to know. He said everybody know. I said everybody don't know. Wow. Everybody haven't been there every year. So I appreciate that advice, I guess, landing. Because in the last couple of weeks, I've noticed some great videos that can, just encourage, the women on just, what we're looking at here.
This is what's interesting. You're absolutely right. If you look at the ratio, and I don't want to give out numbers that may be wrong, but, if you are a lady coming to the weekend experience, it's a target-rich environment. All right, it's fertile ground.
It's fertile ground.
Right. But here's what's interesting, and this is a shout out to all ladies across the United States and outside who come. So when they ask, you telling me and my girls from Montana, making it up, when we show up at the door, y'all not gonna let us in. And I say, well, I can tell by the tone of your voice what you're saying. All of y'all are very attractive, right? Oh, yeah. And all of y'all are very friendly. Oh, yeah. And all of y'all are great conversationalists. Oh, yeah. And I say, that's every lady that's coming through.
There, right.
That doesn't differentiate you at all, right? So the answer is no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
it's a beautiful group of people. And that's important. Like, it's okay. Like, if if you enjoy being around beautiful Black people from every, demographic, every color scheme, every look, big, small, middle, all of that, it's beautiful. So I appreciate the updated advertising.
But let me tell you now, on the converse, when you talk about the men of Omega, the men and the fraternity across the world who show up, right? They'll try every gimmick.
Yeah.
Dog, I've known you for 40 years. Right. Do you know a better brother than me?
No, bro, it's not
You're not going to let me, so we get that too. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got to follow protocol like everybody else.
The ticket is a personal invitation.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like having someone in your studio or in your home. This is a personal invitation. That's what makes them so much in demand. and very limited supply after a certain time.
Right. It's almost a private event. You have to know an individual in the chapter in order to get tickets. And we monitor and track where those tickets are going and who's getting those tickets.
See, that's what I'm saying. Even that, carving out special invites and still bringing 10,000 people.
Yeah.
That to me, I'm just talking about from a business standpoint, that demographic on businesses partnering and marketing to these folks is huge.
Right.
So I do want to see more. I know you guys raise, what I think you said close to $1 million. Like you raise a lot of, what percentage of this goes to the boys?
Black Rhinos.
Yeah, so
Like a huge percent, because I was like,
no,
wow, that's a lot.
A very huge percent.
Yeah.
And without going into details around numbers, et
But
cetera.
certainly way more than 50%.
Yeah. But it's a 7-figure revenue generating event, and more than 50% of that, quite a bit more, goes directly to our scholarships and Black Rhinos mentoring.
That's huge.
And let's not forget, we also support money to Coaches with Cancer.
Absolutely.
MDA and a homeless shelter that we do. We also have another group that we go to, and the brothers go and cook at a
Hope Lodge.
A Hope Lodge,
So
where people are there visiting
from
for
Hope
cancer
Lodge
treatment.
to diabetes walks, to the American Cancer Society, we're able to fund a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that's why we really appreciate the patrons, our corporate sponsors, all the supporters. It's a pass through directly to the communities that we care about.
Okay. So when does it start, the date?
June 5th.
June 5th. And it goes until?
June 8th, we have a farewell Sunday day party.
Okay. What do they expect on each day? You don't have I know it's a lot going on. They need to get on the app. You guys have an app that's now
Let's
available.
talk about the app, man.
But
You
just-
got to download the app. Go to iOS or Android. Our producer, Justin Valentine, is the brainchild and brain trust behind that. It's a fabulous app. You have a schedule of events for each day. You've got a map. You've got all of those types of things. And Sundresses and Seersuckers is the app. On Thursday, there is a meet and greet that will happen at Lucky Lounge. That has been sold out. So please.
Don't show up. Y'all keep,
I
they
didn't want
keep
to say it that
reiterating
way.
stop
I didn't want to
showing
say it
up.
that way, but
It's sold out.
Thursday is a meet and greet. Friday, the marketplace opens at the Hyatt Regency, which is the host hotel. There's also a day party during that on Friday, which is kind of a preview, if you will. And then at Southern Exchange, Friday night is our prequel. Multi-level venue with all types of activation in various rooms, from R&B to go-go to house music, etc. Saturday at the host hotel, there is the marketplace opens again, as well as Divine Nine Doctors will be there. Saturday is the big event at the Home Depot backyard. After that ends, there's the after party at the
Don't
Hyatt
stop. Just keep
Regency
going, yeah.
Hotel. And then there's also a fitness fitness challenge that we're also hosting during that weekend. That's sold out as well. And on Sunday, there's a farewell and thank you that we've extended to folks at Sweet Lounge also, and that is sold out.
Okay, yeah. You notice they keep saying so mean. Don't show up at this door, y'all. They done made that real clear. But don't. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
I'm glad you guys came in. I'm extremely proud of what you're doing in the city of Atlanta, the Black Mecca. We still gonna call it that, even though the demographics have somewhat shifted technically. But it is still the Black Mecca for this many reasons, just like this, and really being able to pour back into the community, and you guys being a phenomenal example of what we can do when we get together. And I'm especially proud of this year because, again, so many people are going through so many different challenges and so many different, and our nonprofits and the organizations you support need you. And shout out to the sponsors again, for continuing to support and not falling off, due to whatever is going on in the world. Correct. So I just want to thank you guys. Want to certainly thank Justin for allowing Revolt, to get some of this beautiful experience. Sure. I'll be there. I'm excited about it. Yeah. Look, he laughing.
Do you have a ticket?
Yes, I definitely have a ticket. Yeah, okay. I definitely have a ticket. Okay. Right. So no, but I'm excited. I'm excited to meet the sponsors. I'm mainly excited about the businesses. Okay, I intend on walking past every business that's there because that's just critically important to me in organizing. So
thank you for allowing us to share our vision and our purpose for what we've been doing for now 14 years. it's been a great journey, and we continue to make it grow and get better every year.
I just want to add thank you to Revolt for having us as well. For us, it's a labor of love. We work on this year round. We don't necessarily feel or see the benefits that everyone else do because we've got our head down and focused. But when we hear the comments from our patrons and sponsors by way of the survey, when we look at what we're able to do with our Black Rhinos mentoring and our scholarships, and when we have people who get their tickets earlier and earlier every year,
Right.
we kind of sit back and say, I think we're doing something okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Busy laboring, but you do enjoy the fruit of the labor.
Yes.
And that's what matters. There's an old saying, they say, the seed I plant, I may not enjoy the shade, from the shade tree, but it's always nice, when you can. So
Thank you.
literally shade in your sundress, and y'all know it's and your Seersuckers. So get your outfits ready.
Yes.
Certainly download the app.
Yes.
Stay connected with you guys, whether you come or not. Still follow,
Sure,
because
please.
it's still going to scale up every year. I definitely see that for you
Absolutely,
guys for
and
sure.
just a shameless plug. With Commitment to Excellence, we have our capital campaign that's also running concurrent with this. The campaign is called Partners in the Promise. So if you're unable to attend, you can still support the work that we're doing. Go to cteinc.org. And if you are attending the event because you have tickets, also support Partners in the Promise, our nonprofit initiatives.
Yes, for sure. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming by.
you.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it.